Sinwa salute. I'm Lord Maitreya, the hip hop futurist. You're now tuned into the Super Longevity Institute podcast. This evening, I'll be chatting with a filmmaker with 30 years of experience in the film industry, with over 60 feature film credits. His films premiered at SXSW, Tribeca, Berlin, and Tornado Film Festivals. He's won awards from the American Film Institute, the American Motion Picture Society, and the Raw Science Film Festival. Ladies and gentlemen, transhumanists worldwide, Daniel Sollinger. And this is not the first time he's come, so he has some new news for us. And I'm excited to hear everything he's done since the last time I spoke to him. All right, how you doing, Daniel Sollinger? It's good to see you. I see you got your some of the posters. I know you can't possibly fill your wall with any as many films as you've done, but those posters
Yeah,
look pretty dope behind you.
thank you. Yeah, no, I have posters in my office, and I actually reoriented the camera so they were a little bit more straight on rather than at an angle. And thank you. Yeah, and I'm happy to be. It's so good to see you again, man.
It's
It's
very
just
good.
I always enjoy chatting with you. I'm a big supporter of what you do.
Thank you.
Both I mean, you can't fit into a box. You're like, you're a rapper, but you're, doing this educational content,
Mm,
you're much bigger than just like one label, and it's always a
yeah.
pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, man. I'm inspired by all your work you've done. I know you've done a lot of videos and stuff like that for the culture of hip hop, and this is why it's so unique to talk to you because not only do you know about the hip hop culture, but you're also involved in transhumanist futurism, life extension also, and that's why it's always good to build with you because you can understand where I'm coming from. It doesn't seem too foreign because we both have our feet in two worlds.
Yeah, no, it's I feel a real kinship. I mean, when you came and were in Immortality or Bust, and you were basically saying like, hip hop is transhumanism. Like you can't separate the two, and I just love that. I dined on that for years, just thinking about that idea.
Yeah, thank you. For the audience who doesn't know, who might be seeing this video for the first time, Daniel Sellinger did a documentary on Zoltan Istvan's 2016 campaign. He ran for president, and he's also a transhumanist and a life extensionist. And I did a cameo in the documentary, which is dope. I always look at it. I thought it was a dope film, and I just was happy that Daniel Sillinger was involved. I knew it was in good hands when he was involved. I was like, oh, I don't have to. I said, this is gonna be a classic. Just wait. So, thank you for even involving me in such a great project and showing hip hop in a different light than some of the negative stuff that's out there.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. So, what's been
mm.
going on? I know you've been. I seen a couple of films you've been doing. I seen Clean. I know you're working on a
Yeah.
new documentary about life extension. Tell me all about the stuff that you've been doing since the last time we spoke to you.
Well, yeah, I did a movie called Clean. It stars Adrian Brody. It's out now. You can get it on Amazon and iTunes and stuff. And it was a real pleasure to work on. It's doing really well. I'm really proud of it. It's maybe the best narrative feature film I've ever done.
Mm,
And I always have a lot of plates spinning. I have this other project I'm really excited to talk about called Ageless. So it's sort of taking the some of the things that we were exploring in Immortality or Bust and going deeper into the science. I think Immortality or Bust was just a good overview of a world that a lot of people probably aren't aware of, and I wanted to bring out to the popular culture. And Ageless for me, there's all this exciting work happening, in the scientific community, but it stays stuck there because it's just people reading each other's papers and academics talking to each other, and I don't
right.
think people understand like the incredible advancements that are being made and how incredibly quick they're advancing. And so I find that whenever I get really curious about a subject, the best thing is to make a movie about it, because then I become an expert on it. I have to like
Yeah.
read it and study it for years, and like really
Yeah.
do a deep dive. And so that's what Ageless is. We're going to do a deep dive in what is really happening in life extension, with the scientists who are making the breakthroughs, who are writing the papers and implementing treatments and doing the clinical trials. So we're going to really show what the cutting edge of life extension is at this time moment in time.
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. I mean, they modified a pig organ to make to do a heart transplant,
Yeah.
which was really dope. Shout out to Martine Rothblate, by the way, because I know she had something to do with that. She,
Oh, did
yeah,
she? I didn't
yeah, she
realize that.
did. Yeah, she did. On some level, I don't know. They got something from her. I don't remember exactly, but I seen an article on it, and so it was. And then it was a kidney also. There was a transplant. They modified a pig kidney and put it in a cadaver. I mean, and it seemed to work and it seemed to work normally. So,
Mm.
people are pushing ahead. And shout out to that whole team that even did. Shout out to the patients, number one, for having the courage to even try experimental stuff. And shout out to all of these doctors. They don't. To me, the doctors are the real rock stars. The scientists
Mm.
and the doctors that's pushing ahead, so we can live longer. And the directors and producers like yourself who show the work. To me, you're the true rock stars, because without
Mm.
life, we don't have anything. And so, I'm really excited, and I like the name Ageless. I love the name.
Yeah, yeah. The title is everything. I really work hard on the titles that of the things I get involved in, and it's capital AGE, capital LESS. So it's one word, ageless, but it's two words, age and less put together.
No doubt. How did you even come up with the name? Did you come up with it? Did you have a team that y'all all
Well,
brainstormed that came up with it?
I do have a really great team on this project. So it's being directed by a woman named Galia, and she's fantastic. She has a really creative vision for the project, and I'm very excited to be working with her. And then I have a couple other producers I'm working with this time, rather than doing it all myself. Some old friends, Amy Schoaf and Eisen Robbins, and they've done some really interesting work. They did the movie on Tesla that came out
I
last year
seen
that came
that.
out with
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
Tesla.
they
Yeah.
produced that. They also produced this wonderful movie called Marjorie Prime, which is set in the future and deals with like a lot of the issues I think we're going to be facing about like if you can reconstruct somebody, like what and live with them, like what will that look like, and what's sort of the moral and emotional implications of things like that. And so I've got like a really great team, very creative. I'm not exact. I think I may have come up with Ageless, and Galio is the one who thought to capitalize the L. But or maybe she came up with it and out of a long list of possible titles, and I saw that and I'm like, that's it, that's the one.
No
So
doubt.
I never know. Like film is such a collaborative process. You
Yeah,
never. Sometimes hard to trace back where the exact ideas come from.
that's true. That's true.
So I won't take full credit for it because I'm not 100% positive it was mine.
No, I understand. And even when you create music, it's so many things and so many people that are
Right.
involved behind the music. Um, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. Um, you ever seen that movie Reanimator back in the '80s?
It sounds familiar. I don't recall it though.
Yeah,
I remember
Reanimator.
hearing of it.
Yeah, it was about this medical student who was trying to bring people back through science and medicine.
Mhm.
I just thought I was like, I'm gonna ask him if you ever seen it. If you ever get a chance, try to check it out. But yeah, back to Ageless though. What can you tell us about what type of what more? What can you tell me more about Ageless? Um, that
Well,
you
to
haven't
start with,
spoken about.
we're doing a very unique way of making this film. So I know you're into crypto. What we're going to do is we're going to create a decentralized autonomous organization that will be the company that makes the film, and we're going to offer tokens to be part of the decentralized organization.
Oh, that's dope.
And then my vision is, and we're still working on the technical things, and I hope it's possible. But my vision is, so when you shoot a documentary, you'll interview somebody for an hour, 2 hours, and just a small piece of that ends up in the movie, like 30 seconds. You get a sound bite out of it. And what I want to do is I want to take those raw interviews and make them into an NFT that will exist on the blockchain, And anytime somebody views it or shares it, or wants to use the footage from it, maybe somebody else is making a movie and they want to use the footage, that all the revenues from that would come back to the DAO. Like, that's what's so cool about crypto, is that you can do something like that, create an NFT that for the life of the NFT, which we have no idea how long these things can live. You know, uh, that all those revenues, and proportioning of the revenues can just happen automatically, because it's all computer software, and just like boom, 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 boom. And so my
Wow.
idea is that I'd like to, or I plan to, take all the raw footage and make it available on the internet for people to watch the whole interview, and as an NFT. Um,
Wow.
and then the DAO, whatever revenues come in, whether from selling the movie itself or revenues that come from the individual pieces of footage, all goes into the DAO, and then the DAO pays out all the members of the DAO. And um, we have to work on, like, the governance issues. I don't know how deep you're into crypto, know about all these governance issues that comes up with DAOs, but there's still more to work on. But this is my vision that I am embarking on. And set up a Discord, Ageless, where you can come, and we're already getting a lot of community feedback. It's going to be fun to make a movie with people being aware of what you're shooting, and being able to make suggestions and comments. And we'll probably put up rough cuts and stuff like that, and the community
Wow.
will be participating in the actual making of the film before it's a finished film. And it's a
Dope.
whole new way of making movies that the blockchain is making possible. And I really want to not just explore all the wonderful things happening in the radical life extension space, but also all these new opportunities that the crypto space is giving us, and explore both of them.
Wow, it sounds exciting, and I know that you've been talking about stuff like this because I've you've spoken to me about it, and this is before things became really popular. You were talking about cryptocurrencies. You were talking about I remember you speaking on things along this line. So it's actually dope to know that you're actually going in this direction, and I fully support it. I think NFTs are really a great way, and a positive, empowering way to put your best work out there. And you know what? I wanted to ask you about Discord, because the first time I heard about Discord was from you. I never knew it even existed. You tell me more about
Hmm.
Discord, and why'd you use that as a platform?
Discord is an app, and it's an app where you have conversations in very specific niches, very specific areas. I think it started out with gaming,
Oh,
and people
really?
would go to Discord to discuss a particular game. So they would have a
Mm,
server just to discuss, I don't know, Tomb Raider,
mm,
and you could go in there and meet all these other people who are playing Tomb Raider, have these conversations, find out tricks and tips, communicate. Friendships are born. I'm in several Discord, and I have friends that grew out of just talking on Discord. It's a really powerful communication tool. And um and and its strength is in, like, how specific you can be. And it's very popular with the crypto community. So every coin
oh,
that exists probably has its own Discord, and people go in there
mm,
and talk about it, and you know exchange information, and such. um it's a really powerful tool. It's sort of like Slack, but you don't have to be in a group to do it. Like, you don't have to be in, a work setting, and all your coworkers are on Slack. It's a community that's self-created to get behind a particular project or idea, or game or TV show, or what have you.
wow. One thing I would like to ask you is what what's specific, or do you have a specific science that's actually your favorite that you would like to talk about in your film? Life
Hmm.
extension science that you would like to talk about in Ageless?
Right, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, like, I'm a sci-fi nerd. I like space, and I like thinking about physics and stuff. In terms of just science. In terms of the space, there's just so much happening. Like, I hear, that gentleman who got the heart transplant from the pig heart. I think they call that a chimera. They To me, like that is exciting and totally like an intermediary step, until we get to 3D printed hearts. I mean, certainly it's better than waiting around for somebody to die so you can take somebody else's a human heart. To have, you can have a pig that was completely, has a heart completely constructed to meet your DNA, that will, and blood type and everything, and that's exciting. But I feel like that's a middle step, until like 3D printing organs is very exciting to me. Nanobots, there's some work. There's a scientist that we were talking to that we'll probably interview for the film, doing just incredible work with nanobots, and it's not theoretical. It's like he's actually making these things and putting them in people, and it's doing stuff, and really incredible things happening. So that DNA origami, I think you know about that. That stuff is really exciting. And just the way we can alter the gene, and is really exciting. And what's great about making a movie is that, like, I don't really fully get or understand how we can edit genes, and this is an opportunity for me to like really learn,
Yeah.
in the course of making the movie, and then helping others to learn and find out and know.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. George Church,
Yes.
one of the greatest scientists of our time, whose work on gene editing we couldn't do without. Shout out to him. And the work he's doing. I fully support everything that he does, and I'm happy to even have interviewed him and to enlighten our audience, the hip hop generation, on what he's doing. But yeah, when do you think this film might be done by? I know it's in the
Well,
preliminary stages.
yeah, we're just getting started. We're planning to do our first shoot. We've been talking to scientists and doing informal interviews and just like Zoom interviews. But we're going to do our first formal shoot in the next 2 months. And the thing about documentaries is that you can't tell them what they are. They
Yeah,
have to tell you what they are.
yeah,
So
I
you know you
understand.
you edit, you start to get a better you write it in the edit room.
Yeah.
So sometimes I've seen screenwriters write a screenplay in a matter of days, and sometimes it takes a matter of years. It's
Yeah,
really hard to know ahead of time.
that's right.
And the better you want to make it and the more interesting it is, the longer it takes.
Yeah.
So I started shooting Immortality or Bust in 2015. It came out like 2018. So that was
Mm.
like a 3-year process. 3 years is, 3 years from now, we'll have something. We'll be ready for the marketplace yet? I hope so. I don't know.
Mm.
It's hard to know ahead of time. And if you put too fine a point on it, like if you say like this is what's happening, this is the schedule, this we've lined up all these interviews, like that's almost a guarantee that you're going to fail at
Hmm.
it. You know.
I definitely understand where you're coming from. Definitely.
Because like with Immortality or Bust, I thought I was done Immortality or Bust, and I kept showing it to people, and it just wasn't hitting the bullseye. And I
Mm.
realized, oh, what's missing. Like after a lot of showing it to a lot of people and getting a lot of feedback, I realized, you know what, I need to go back and shoot Zoltan's wife. Like that's the missing
Mm.
element. Is sort of like, how's this affecting her? Like how like what's her take on him and what he's doing, and that's once I shot her and I only cut 4 pieces in, but once that happened, the whole movie came together. And you just never know when you're
Mm.
going to have that moment where it's like, okay, it all comes together now.
No doubt. Um, I just want to tell all the hip hoppers out there. Daniel Sollinger did a lot of videos in the hip hop world, and look at the poster in the back. He got Slasher, then he got Rhym Reason. So
Rhyme Reason.
in the future, because me and him are involved in life extension, we put in hip hop in the life extension community, so they could never say that the culture wasn't there and we
Mm.
didn't try to put our best foot forward and bring any of our creativity to help push the life extension forward. So I just want to mention that real quick. So
No, well, there's hip hop is definitely sort of always on the cutting edge of like ideas, language, culture,
mhm.
and it's a natural place for this stuff. and there's an intelligence to hip hop that I think like if you ask me, like the average rapper is a lot more intelligent than the average person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just their mind works on a deeper level, and
Yeah.
and that's so I think that yeah that well it's another documentary I'm trying to get off the ground, but just back to crypto is that uh and I know like hip hop and the black community are two different things,
Right.
but it was I saw an interesting statistics that says that the wealth creation that's happening in crypto is disproportionately in the black community. Like the black
Mm.
community has jumped onto crypto and um, prospered from it at a much higher rate than other communities.
I didn't even know
And
that.
yeah, I found that a really fascinating
Wow.
statistic, and I really want to dive deeper into that.
That would be
And
dope because I didn't even know that. That was a
yeah,
wow.
50 Cent was a very early adopter of
I never
Bitcoin.
knew
You
that.
oh yeah, yeah. 50 Cent like got well, he got
He's a
paid in
smart guy.
Bitcoin like 8 years ago, like something like
What?
that.
I never knew
And
that.
that football, the richest player in the NFL is not Tom Brady or one of the superstar players. It's like like I don't know what his position is, but it's not like one of the high profile positions. But
Hmm.
when he signed his NFL contract, he put in it that he wanted to get paid in Bitcoin, and he's the richest NFL player today because he put that into his
What?
contract.
That's
You
like the
know?
mayor. The mayor said I want to get paid in crypto.
Yeah,
I said, oh
exactly.
snap! It's the future.
So yeah, and that my point is that like I feel like like 50 Cent getting paid in Bitcoin or whatever, it's like I feel like the hip hop community definitely has like these higher level deep thinking perspective, and it's totally the right community to help educate and inform the public about radical
Wow.
life extension and all the wonderful things that are coming with the exponential growth of computing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see something on that because I didn't even know. I definitely unaware of how deep our participation is in cryptocurrency, but I would love to see something on that and be enlightened on what everybody's going on and how much they prosper from it. Definitely, that would be dope.
I know more than one black millionaire who is a millionaire because of crypto.
Wow, that's
Like I know, and it's not just anecdotal. It's statistically proven that the black community has jumped in with much
wow,
more acceptance and adoption than the rest of the rest of the population. So yeah,
wow.
I'm dying to make that movie. I just I've got so many. I always have so many plates spinning, but
Yeah,
I have a director that I want to direct it, and we just need to figure out how to raise some money and get it going.
yeah. But I think that the NFT situation is definitely a great way. It's a great direction on It's definitely a great direction on how to get investments and how to get people involved and excited about what you're doing. I definitely like this. And you know what I'm so happy about? Because I always felt like we need somebody in our community who is a film director who can make films about life extension and what's going on. Because I always felt like there's not somebody out there that was really doing that. There was people that was doing it, but I feel like you're really dedicated to and understand uh, your role in producing these films and getting it out to the public, so the common person can understand what's going on because they don't read peer review journals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what to me, even Rhyme and Reason, Rhyme and Reason, like at the time we started shooting that in the early 90s, and hip hop was like this fringe world, but I knew it was going to be mainstream. And we caught it, we were catching it just as like Biggie was coming up and Tupac. And, we caught it at a moment when it was just sort of crossing over into the mainstream culture. And, as I've said many times about immortality or bust, I feel that way about transhumanism, that it is in a completely different place now than it was in 2015 as an idea,
Yeah.
and even as a political movement. And I'm like that's my goal, is to sort of catch that wave, but make it accessible and digestible by people who may not know about it, or
Right.
know anything about it. Like that's to me the joy of doing these projects.
Yeah, and shout out to all the transhumanists that put in the work before me and is going to put in the work after me and put in the work presently, because transhumanism definitely has helped me. It's like a can. What the scientists say? It's definitely been a candle in the dark for me.
Mm.
Definitely, it's coming from where I come from. Definitely, has been a candle in the dark, and I've definitely helped talk to other people in daily conversation about what transhumanism is and what it isn't. So
Mm.
it's definitely helped me, and I know that it'll be valuable as a philosophy for other people. And you know, one of the greatest tenets in transhumanism is life extension, and wanting people to just live longer, healthier lives. There's nothing wrong with it.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
Um,
And the
okay.
technology is making it possible. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, um, we're going to be, in our lifetime, and you're in my lifetime, we'll be able to reprogram our DNA with the ease of writing a screenplay, or or writing a poem. Like we'll be able to go and edit every element of our DNA as easy as it takes to sit down and write something on a computer.
Yeah, your film Rhym Reason, KRS One talks about it all the time. He spoke about it so many times. It was like a really enlightened film for him. I
Mm.
really hope one day that you'll connect, because he mentioned it plenty of times. Shout out to KRS One. He
Yeah, I
mentioned it.
haven't talked to him in a while.
You
It
got,
would be
yeah.
great to. He's another great thinker. It
Mm-hmm.
would be great to sort of reconnect with him and get his thoughts on everything, because he's such a fascinating. His mind works in such a fascinating way.
Yeah, he just dropped another album, by the way. That's dope. And you know,
Oh, I have
I,
to check that.
yeah, he just dropped another album. That's probably his 40th album. That guy keeps dropping albums every year. He's not. They do well. So he has super longevity, and he's one of those guys that are breaking the age barrier in the culture. So you
Mm.
know, when we talk about life extension, and he should always be mentioned, because he's breaking the age barrier in the culture just by dropping another album when people are saying, yeah, you should quit. Nobody's gonna really listen to you. You're old and stuff like that. But if your mind is still fresh and agile, and you still have creativity, hip hop is for all ages.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
all ages. So I'm very happy that you came by, and I hope that y'all have some merch around age. I know this is too early for you to
You know what?
say
That's
talk
that's a
about stuff
really
like
great
that.
point. We should have a merchandising component to it this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great point. Yeah,
Yeah, you
because
gotta
we
have
came up
merch.
with a great logo. We've been working on the logo for the project, and we came up with like a really nice logo, and it would look great on a T-shirt or a coffee mug.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should totally do merch.
yeah. Because I like to represent stuff that represent me and where I'm coming from. And
Right.
I would definitely buy a T-shirt from you and wear a T-shirt on the show just to represent what you're doing. And a poster too. I would love to hang a poster up on my wall. People still do that. Where you get your frames from? Those frames are dope. Those are wooden frames.
Yeah, I mean, when my movies first started coming out, and I was getting posters like this Rhyme and Reason one, I would take it to a custom framer, and they would frame it, like, but it was expensive. So
Yeah, it
like
is expensive.
after a while, I just started buying the pre-made ones at Target, and even if you didn't fit the poster perfectly, like just putting
Yeah,
it in there.
they're stupid
But
expensive.
it depends on the. I really geek out on custom framing, so
Mm.
I don't need much of an excuse to go to a custom frame store and like work on the color of the wood and the width and the type of bevel. Like
Yeah,
I love to get into that stuff.
me too. It looks really dope. I was just like, all right, that's what I've been doing for the last month or so. So I was like, all right, but yeah,
I
man.
always like to try to pick colors that sort of bring out something in the poster or the picture that I'm framing.
Mm, yeah, I mean, all right. I definitely think that is a good idea to focus on nanotechnology, because to me, that's the holy grail of. To me, I could be wrong. I'm not I read a lot, You know, that's just one shelf
Well, it's not just
behind
you.
you.
I mean, that's what Ray Kurzweil says. Like the three bridges to longevity. Like the last one is nanotechnology.
Shout out to Ray Kurzweil. Shout out to Ray Kurzweil. I can't wait to have him in the show. Trust me, he's coming. I can't wait
Well,
to
I'm
have him
sure.
show. Yeah, because yeah.
Well, you were saying he was the one that encouraged you to get into hip hop to begin with, right?
Well, I was always into hip hop. You know, since I can't even remember when hip hop actually entered my brain, but he actually said that, yo, Matrey, life is just in hip hop. You can do that. He said, yeah, you can do that. So yeah, shout out to Ray Kurzweil, and shout outs to his daughter, who's a dope cartoonist. She did stuff for the New Yorker and stuff like that. They're just dope people, and I can't wait to have both of them on because they're doing a biography about his life and stuff like that.
All
It's a
right.
collaboration with him and his daughter. So I would definitely, I like that. I definitely like. I would like to have. I'm gonna have both of them on the show eventually when it's written. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And anything you would like to say regarding Ageless and any future projects that you're working on?
Well, I just hope I don't know if you can put the link in the in the
Okay.
comments, but I'd love to link the Discord and just have people join and
All
give
right.
us their thoughts and areas that maybe because there's so much that I don't know. It'd be great to get suggestions about paths to go down and explore. And I really hope this is a project that is really community oriented. That it's not just like these filmmakers on high, like sort of dictating what the subject matter is. That it's a community conversation that just builds and spills out into this movie that comes out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And when you're done, you could drop it off to Dr. Natasha Vidamore. She has a transhumanist study thing that she's doing that's really dope. That's educating people about the history and what transhumanism is about. It's called Transhumanist Studies, and she could probably show that to her students. That would be dope too.
Right.
But and Eric Drexler. We need to hear from Eric Drexler.
Right.
You
That would
know,
be awesome.
put him on a
Yeah.
milk carton because we need to hear from him. I know he lives in London somewhere, but we need to hear from you, Eric Drexler. I would love to hear him in the film. He's dope, and he's the father of nanotechnology.
Technology.
Yeah, he's the father. He's the one that coined the term nanotechnology. We need to hear from him. We need to hear
And
from him.
came up with a lot of the basic concepts of like
Yeah.
how it would work and what it would do. And yeah, he'd be great to hear from. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming by, man. If you want to say anything else to my
Thank
audience,
you.
it's always a pleasure. This is the first interview I've done in months, so I was happy. This is perfect timing. It's a great omen for me because it was perfect timing. It was like right when everything was done. And this is the second time you're on, and I'm glad that you're pushing forward and doing more stuff in the film world for the life physician transhumanist community. If you want to promote anything or say anything else before we head out, please do.
No, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Maitreya. I really enjoy your company. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you, man. I would definitely be letting you. I'm definitely going to be doing more interviews, and I'm going to be doing stuff educational on my own about hip hop and transhumanist and life physician. Thank you, Daniel Sollinger, for coming on. I'm excited to see Ageless. I'm excited that you're doing another film. Super Longevity Institute fully backs you and thinks it's dope. And we out.
All right. Take care.
Peace and love, everyone.